She's like 7 pounds and she makes this little like foghorn noise. It's like 5 times the size of her in the car when you put her in the cat carrier. That's exactly what it sounds like, just higher pitched.
Hello and welcome to Book Retorts. I'm Sam.
I'm Danielle.
And this is the podcast about sharing your weird media finds with your friends who don't know what you're talking about.
And what are we talking about today, Sam?
Well, that's actually an interesting story, Danielle. So I have to start with a little background on how I uncovered this particular piece of media.
Okay.
So I think one of my neighbors either owns a bookstore or buys books for a bookstore or is somehow involved in publishing, because the shelves in the lobby of my apartment building are always filled with books, and all of them have like advanced copy or, uncorrected proof. So they're all like promotional pieces that are sent out to these people, I assume, for like, oh, you should probably buy this and put an order for your bookstore or something.
How have you lived there for that long and you have never told me this?
It's only been like the last year or two that started happening. But, that didn't seem relevant, Danielle.
So? Kind of interesting. Seems like it would come up in conversation, Sam. We talk all the time.
That's coming up now, Danielle. What do you want from me?
You were holding it in for just such an occasion.
Look, I only have so many stories that are interesting in my life, Danielle. I have to dole them out appropriately.
That explains a lot. Continue.
So I was poking around through there, as I am wont to do, and I found this particular item that I thought might fit our bill. And it is called My Video Game Ate My Homework by Dustin Hansen.
Oh, sure. Why not? Is it like young adults or is it adult book?
It's a young adult graphic novel by DC, Graphic Novels for Kids. So it's of the DC label for children.
Yeah, bringing a graphic novel in. Liking it.
Yeah, so it's going to be perfect.
It's been a while.
It's going to be perfect for our non-visual medium of podcasting.
We've done graphic novels. We were fine. We were okay.
Yeah, it should be good. I should also just be clear, this is the advanced uncorrected proof, so there might be some differences between this and the published version. I don't know. I don't care to look. It looked fine to me, but what do I know?
Great. So what happens in the story, Sam?
Well, here's a description for you to tell me that.
It says, meet Dewey Jenkins. What a name.
Oh, the names are great.
A 13-year-old school kid, as opposed to a 13-year-old non-school kid.
It could be like an Oliver Twist.
That's true. I'll give it to you. The 13-year-old school kid who's about to fail science class. Follow Dewey on an amazing adventure that leads him and his friends to a virtual world where they will have to overcome all sorts of digital creatures and solve a number of puzzles in order to get home. And not fail science class, I assume. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so we'll discuss this virtual world later, I'm sure, Danielle.
Okay, bring it on.
So, first things first, I want to get out of the way. I have no idea when this book is set, because it seems to be set modern day, but some of the technology in this is like Star Trek technology, which is crazy. So I don't know if you just gotta go with it, I guess.
Okay, I have a quick aside.
Yeah.
Sorry, before you continue. Is this out? Like, published?
Yeah, it's the actual copy is out. I checked it out.
Okay. just curious. I was like, should we do something that doesn't exist in the world yet?
I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean, we get the scoop, Danielle.
Like, seems slightly questionable.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know the rules. Like, if you weren't gifted the copy, is it still, like, are you allowed?
Hey, it's in my hands. I didn't sign no non-disclosure agreement.
Sorry. All right. I was trying to get that out of the way just in case we needed to halt production of this episode.
No, this train is going, Danielle. I don't care if this is out or coming out like next month. No, it's definitely out, though. So.
All right. So tell us about Dewey Jenkins, Sam.
Well, we'll start with a kid named Ronald Ferguson, age 12.
Oh, sure. Why not? He was definitely in the summary.
Yeah.
He seems important.
So we open with a shot of a school hallway where a PA is calling out that Ronald Ferguson, please come to the principal's office. But his buddy Dewey is there and he says, it's okay, Ferg. It's got to do a few chores and we can meet up at the Frosted Top later. And I'm assuming...
Frosted Top like a malt shop?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like a diner. Malt shop was my first guess.
So good.
So again, I had no idea if this was like Riverdale meets the Jetsons or something, because the time period is wild.
I'd read that.
I mean, especially the live-action Riverdale meets the cartoon Jetsons. That'd be great.
Yes, please.
There is a bit of foreshadowing in the background of this panel. There's a sign on the wall that says, "Don't forget, Science Fair this Monday. Win a chance to play the new Infinity Lens gaming console."
Let me guess, they forget.
Quite the opposite, Danielle.
Oh, do they bring their virtual reality worlds to the science fair?
Danielle, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. There's a malt shop to visit.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, I got sidetracked. This is much more important.
So, cut to the malt shop. Dewey is wiping down the counters. It looks like his dad is the cook or possibly the owner, or both.
Mm-hmm.
And he's bringing some milkshakes and fries to his sister, Beatrice, and her friend, Catherine. I guess they're all friends, which is kind of nice. You don't really see a brother and sister being friends with the same friend group all the time, so that's nice.
Are they similar ages?
So, to that point, on each panel, when a character is sort of introduced, they have a little badge that introduces them. And so, for Dewey, it says, Dewey Jenkins, 13 years old, twin brother. And then there's Beatrice Jenkins, 13-year-old, twin sister.
Nice.
And their friend is Catherine Ortiz, 12 years old, super loyal. So she has a personality. The other two are just twins.
Twins, I guess, is a personality trait in most novels.
Unfortunately, yeah, kinda.
Poor twins.
So Dewey, brings over the milkshakes and the fries, and they're talking, and he's very excited about doing some homework. I gotta wrap up my chores here. I gotta finish my homework, the side project. And they're like, "What's going on?" It's like, "Well, of course, I want to win the virtual reality console. It's a preview version that's not even out yet." So speaking of things that aren't released yet, Danielle.
So in this fictional world, if you win this middle school science fair, you get a huge prize.
Massive. So this would be like if some random middle school was giving away a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or whatever the newest gaming console is, like a year before it was released.
That makes me wonder, having done many a science fair, I don't remember there being prizes. I'm sure there was, but maybe people just got a ribbon back in the 90s, 2000s. I don't know how old I am. What year was it when I was in middle school?
I don't know, Dan. I didn't know you then. That was before our time together.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, that's weird.
So apparently there's also the latest and greatest in VR game technology. So, and there's a little footnote that says VR means virtual reality. Clear that up.
You might not know that if you're that age. Who knows? But I doubt it because 13-year-olds know more than I do. I'm
about to say, they know way more about this stuff than I would. But the other thing that Dewey is talking about is not just that he wants to win this prize, that if he doesn't get an A+ on his science fair, it's summer school for him because he's going to fail science class.
Oh, so it's like the be-all, end-all.
Well, apparently he's not very good at numbers, writing, reading, or science.
So school?
Yeah. And we'll learn why later. But he is good at building things. Like, he is a hands-on kind of guy, apparently. And so he's hoping that he can pull out an A+ on a science fair by building something super cool, Danielle. Do you know what he's going to build for his science fair project?
He hasn't done it yet, even though it's due on Monday.
It's almost done. Do you know what he is building or has almost finished building?
A robot.
No.
Darn. Dragon.
That'd be way cooler.
What else can I pull out of our old episodes?
Oh, okay. Don't think that hard about it. Just go to your go for what you think a good science fair project is.
A volcano.
Yeah,
a
that's
molecule.
it.
DNA.
It's a volcano, Danielle. You nailed it.
They're always volcanoes.
They're always volcanoes. So my first thought
I thought it was going to be better than that because he's really good at building.
No. We'll get to the volcano later, but at this point in the book, you're like, okay, Dewey, I hate to break it to you, but you're going to fail that science fair. You're going to summer school.
So sad. I thought it was going to be better than that. I'm disappointed in you, Dewey. This better be an amazing volcano.
Well, that is what he reassures his sister and their friend Kat, because he's like, no, I swear this is going to be better than your standard volcano. And they're all like, all right, sure, whatever. That's when Ronald Ferguson from earlier bursts in. They call him Ferg, and his little badge just says he has a very high stress meter. So he doesn't even get a personality or an age.
It makes me sad when characters only get one descriptor, and that's their entire personality.
Well, again, this is a book for, middle school people, and
middle school people are smarter than we give them credit for. They're also
true.
Three-dimensional beings at the age of 13.
That's fair, Danielle. You know what? I give them total credit. Thank you for correcting me.
Though perhaps the story continues and gives you a more in-depth personality.
He's also the hungry one.
Oh, okay, good. 2 traits. Yeah, you go, Ferg.
No, he's the goofball. So sure.
Goofball, hungry, high stress.
Yeah. Well, he's high stress for a reason. He bursts in. He's like, oh, it's an emergency. I really need your help. And they're like, it's probably not that bad, Ferg. Just calm down. And he's like, okay, first let me have a milkshake and I'll tell you what's going on. I'm like, uh-oh. I guess it's not that big a deal anyway.
Got time.
So there's a little flashback here. And this graphic novel has actually got really nice art. I like the art in it. It's fun, it's colorful, and it does all these like little fun little tricks where it'll put like their heads, floating heads over panels, doing flashbacks and stuff like that, which unfortunately I can't really describe very well in this audio medium, but trust me, it's pretty cool.
Is the art by the author?
Yeah, he did the art too, apparently.
Oh, that's cool.
So Ferg is telling them that he was called to the principal's office, and they're like, that's not a big deal. The principal was your dad. And I'm like, wait a minute. It seems kind of over the top to use the PA system just to get your son to come to your office after school or whatever.
Well, I guess if it was school related, that would make more sense. If it was just like your other parents picking you up after school, that seems over the top.
Yeah. Also, we don't really find out why he was called to the principal's office, so we can only speculate. Yeah, we can only speculate.
Seems a choice.
Yeah. So he goes to the office, and it's empty. He's just sort of waiting for his dad. He's like, I waited for 50 million hours. I got so bored. He started like poking around, and he uncovers the infinity lens box, the prize for the science fair, under his dad's desk.
Okay.
And being a 12 or 13-year-old boy, he opens it. Of course, takes it out, starts playing around with it, and then breaks it.
I was like, I'm so nervous. Where is this going?
Yeah, it went there.
That's not good.
And he's like, well, then I stuffed the broken parts, into my backpack, and I got out of there.
No. You put them back in the box.
And seal it up and be like...
You never touch that sucker.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't know what happened. Broken infinity lens. You're looking for some other kid.
Come on. That's just basic 13-year-old knowledge. I'm disappointed in Ferg.
Either way, he ran to find his friends, and he's like, Dewey, you're good at fixing things. Can you fix my game console? And Dewey's like, sure, that's not a problem. I can totally do that. And I don't know much about 13-year-old Dewey Jenkins. Maybe he's a savant, but I would be a little bit nervous about trying to fix a as yet unreleased state-of-the-art piece of technology. No,
I think that's perfect teenage logic, like pre-teen, early teen logic. You're like, my best friend can fix this.
Oh, I agree that their logic is sound. I just think it's way overconfident. Like, I'm sorry, the logic isn't sound. It is teenager sound, but it is not sound from any objective perspective.
I have no proof yet that Dewey Jenkins can actually do anything if his project is still what we assume is just normal volcano.
That is also a problem. This book has yet to establish Dewey as a mechanical genius, but we'll get there. So they go upstairs to the clubhouse, is what they call it. It's basically like a space above the malt shop, and it is an awesome, like, kid cave, whatever you want to call it.
Kid cave. That's good.
There are arcade machines and video game consoles and posters, all kinds of cool things to hang out. There's a little workbench where Dewey takes the broken piece, and he's like, oh, this doesn't look so bad. It doesn't look that broken.
Does he know what it's supposed to look like?
I have no idea. Danielle's unreleased. Maybe he saw some, like, leaks or whatever.
Okay.
Or some news coverage. But, it's possible. People knew what various game consoles would look like before they were actually released to the public. This is a full year in advance, though. It seems pretty crazy to me.
Maybe it's kind of a standard concept.
Okay, sure. It's not. I'll tell you right now, no, it's not.
Okay. I don't know. I'm out of ideas, Sam. That was the only one I had.
So while he's sort of working on that, Ferg goes over and talks to Cuddles, which is Dewey's pet tarantula.
Okay, good.
And then he leaves the lid off the, what do you call it, terrarium, and the tarantula crawls out. So good job, Ferg.
He's just on top of his game today.
We'll get back to that spider, maybe.
I hope so. It'd be kind of funny, though, if it just, disappeared. He never saw it again.
So Dewey is working on the game console. He's soldering something or whatever, which, again, is crazy. And then he pulls out a blowtorch, like an actual, blowtorch you would see in, a welding shop or, like a chef's blowtorch, but bigger, like a full-size propane blowtorch.
The things that you give your children in their kid cave.
I know. I'm like, that seems wildly irresponsible. So while he's doing that, the others explore his volcano project, which is on the table next to him. And Danielle, this volcano is very impressive.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better, I guess.
There is a cross-section of this volcano. And let me just read to you some of the labels on various parts of this volcano. There is a catch-up tank, which I assume is for the lava.
Uh-huh.
There's a weather control unit, which, what?
Has its own little system going.
Yeah. There are French fry tree trunks, because apparently if you work in a malt shop, you have to use what you got.
Yeah, of course.
There's like a fog machine, fans, pumps. There's 40-watt subwoofers.
For sound effects?
I guess the explosion or something.
Okay.
And it's a very impressive volcano, but it's still filled with baking soda and vinegar. So it's like...
Well, how else would you do it, Sam?
I mean, actual lava, Danielle. Go big or go home.
Of course, sorry. Should have known.
There are lots of ways to do this. I'm just saying, he's made just a baking soda and vinegar volcano. I mean, he's gussied it up quite a bit. It is the fanciest baking soda and vinegar volcano you'll ever see in your life. But it's still just a baking soda and vinegar volcano. Like, I'm not sure what science this is demonstrating besides the fact that volcanoes exist.
Well, I assume his project's going to be on the science of how volcanoes work, because otherwise, what's the point?
I don't know, Danielle. We've seen nothing but the volcano. I think mechanically it's very impressive, so I'll give him that.
Okay, that's good. Establish something.
And the group dub it Mount Hamburger because of the French fry trees.
Do they stay, like, are they going to mold?
I imagine they would. Hopefully the science fair isn't that far away.
Guess maybe if they were, like, really preserved fries, like something from a fast food restaurant.
Yeah, well, let's hope. So, Dewey fixes the game console, and it looks like a flying saucer in a dock.
Okay.
And it starts to float up into the air as soon as he fixes it.
Wait, why?
Just because, Danielle, this is what it does. It floats over to an empty spot in the room and manifests a stone arch, like out of like a holodeck style arch.
Is this the actual technology?
Yeah.
That they're going to give away to some random middle school?
Yeah. Like I said, Danielle, this is Star Trek technology. This is like a hologram projector thing from Star Trek in a middle school where they are making baking soda and vinegar volcanoes.
This seems like some deeper conspiracy that we're not in on yet.
This technology seems wildly out of place for everything else. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, it makes a hologram stone arch, and the kids are like, cool, all right, let's go inside and check it out.
They're going to, like, Stargate it?
Basically. So Ferg gives them a little speech and like convinces them all to go in and go through the portal. As they enter, everything transforms into a standard sword and sorcery type environment.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's like they literally entered a holodeck, which just manifested itself somehow from this flying game console that
it creates its own matter.
Fixed. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
They don't need any kind of, like, device on their own bodies to interact with it.
Nope, nothing like that. As they enter, they are each transformed. So Dewey becomes like a wizard, and he gets a book as his special item. Beatrice, or Bee, becomes like a bumblebee and gets a shield, so she's like defense. Cat gets a giant hammer, which seems dangerous because it smashes things. And Ferg just gets barefoot cream. And that's bear as in the animal.
I figured.
It's like the barbarian.
This is kind of like a Jumanji.
Yeah.
Like the Jumanji remake.
It is very Jumanji. I was about to say this reminded me a lot of Jumanji, about the video game Jumanji, but less mystical and more sci-fi.
Got it. It doesn't get as creepy as Jumanji. Because the original Jumanji is very scary.
You mean the film, not the book?
Yes, the film.
Yes, it is very...
The whole concept is actually creepy, so also the book.
Okay. So after just a few moments inside this virtual reality world, some lightning shoots out of the console, which has become like the keystone in the arch.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids are ejected back into the clubhouse from the virtual world.
So they just show up, they are all like changed into their various identities, and then they just pop back.
They pop back out, they are ejected, the game console flies over, UFO style, and just abducts the volcano from the cable.
Sure, why not?
And then it goes back to the arch and plugs in, and the arch has these words that appear that say, the infinity lens has claimed its prize. Enter at your own risk. And this seems like a terrible idea for a video game, is that it like steals some of your belongings and holds them ransom.
I was just going to say, why was this an idea?
Right. Like, I mean, sure, let's say technology exists to do this. Who would want that? Like, oh, I stole my TV, and to get it back, I have to go, like, spend 10 hours grinding in World of Warcraft. That sounds like a terrible video game.
I mean, people would still do it because of the VR experience.
Sure.
But
a lot of people just be annoyed that their TV has been stolen, and then I gotta go to work. I don't have time for this.
There's probably some consent you'd have to sign prior to that, because otherwise it's just stealing your stuff.
None of these kids did that. This video game console just stole their volcano and was like, come and get it, suckers.
I don't think that's how that works. I honestly think you'd have to sign like some kind of accept button before you were able to play.
Yeah, you'd think, but and here we are.
Especially if it just like magically zaps you into a completely alternate reality, which is what seems to be happening.
Yeah, it seems very dangerous. And also, like, why are they giving this clearly prototype beta software thing to a middle schooler as a prize for a science fair? Like, that seems way out of line. I mean,
it seems like some evil corporation plan that we just don't know what's happening yet.
It feels very much like that. Like, there's something, again, this feels like, I don't know why I keep finding these things, Danielle, that seem so innocent on the surface, but are clearly very sinister. Like toys.
You have had a run of them.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it. It's just, but there's, I get what you're saying. This feels like this is like a LexCorp type of thing.
Like it just seems like it's not going in the direction you think it is.
And this is a DC book, so it could be that. I don't know.
All right, let's find out what happens. Let's find out what happened with the evil corporation, because I'm sure they're coming into this later.
Kinda. It's crazy. So Dewey is distressed about his A+ being digitized, and yeah, that would be ludicrous. Like, my homework is beaten by a video game. What am I going to tell my teacher? The video game stole my homework? Like, oh. I just can't get over that concept of video games stealing stuff from you and then, like, taunting you to come get it.
So you thought the title was, like, over the top, but it's true. It really did.
I thought it would be, like, a malfunction or something. Like, you know, something accidentally happened and they got sucked in, or it was, like, struck by lightning and it went evil or whatever. You know, your standard kind of shenanigans. I don't think that was, like, the intended design. All right, so they all band together and say, together, we can get that back, and they all enter. And so they all have their little badges updated with new names for all of them, and they all have 2 hearts. So
2 lives.
Yeah, you figured it out before they did.
It's like basic video gaming. Did it really take them that long?
Kind of. So they go inside and they're all like, okay, what do we do? The first thing that Ferg does is he pours a little barefoot cream onto his foot and it turns into a barefoot. So that's fine.
Just 1 foot?
Which is just on 1 foot initially. And Dewey finds out that he can sort of talk to his book. Like, the book will have little, I don't know, to be like emojis, emoticons appear, like little hearts or other like thumbs up. And I guess that's him communicating with it, like intentional. Like, it doesn't talk to it, but it has like a way to express itself, which is pretty interesting.
It's interesting.
They find themselves in a circular stone room with no entrance or exit, and there's ivy rapidly growing over all the walls. And so Dewey's book starts flying, and it leads him to a spot on the wall where there are a couple of buttons. And Dewey just pushes one. And it was like, Dewey, don't just push it. Too late, he pushes it, and a trapdoor in the ground opens, and like an Audrey 2 style plant monster jumps up, grabs him, drags him under, and he's dead.
Well, maybe you shouldn't just push buttons.
I mean, I agree with that. So now we cut to a different art style. It's very sort of silhouette style. And Dewey finds that he's talking to his book, and his book explains to him through him reading some of the pages in it that he is in the Nether, which is the Nether realm you go when you're dead. And you can return to the realm of the living, but you have to leave one of your hearts behind. So, their video game lives. Womp womp.
So does he respawn somewhere?
Yep.
Back in the room?
He respawns right back in the room. Everyone's like, oh, you're back. He's like, yeah, it's a video game. What do you think was going to happen? And they go over and they look at the 2 buttons.
Does he explain the heart thing to them?
Oh, yeah. They figure it out pretty quick.
Okay. Making sure at some point they know.
I mean, it's pretty self-evident after that point. But yes, they figure it out.
I thought it was self-evident immediately, but okay.
So he goes over and he looks at the 2 buttons, and one says don't push and one says enter. And so he pushed the don't push one, and they're like, why'd you do that? Like, oh, I guess I read it wrong. And so they all push the other enter button, and a hole opens in the floor with a spiral staircase that leads them outside to a forest. So yeah, they solved the first puzzle. Danielle was pushing the button that said enter.
Like, wait, it's just a button that says enter.
Yeah. Remember, puzzles and traps, Danielle. It's going to be tricky. I get this is for children, so I'm not too harsh on it, but I still think we should give them more credit than just pushing a button.
No, yeah, they're old enough to have figured something else out.
So as they're wandering through the forest, a bunch of skeleton rats attack them.
Ew.
Yeah. And so the skeleton rats just immediately murder Ferg. Like, they just eat him, tear him apart. He is dismembered and dead.
Who was the person that died earlier?
Dewey.
Okay.
So Dewey's got 1 death, Ferg's got 1 death.
That seems like a terrible way to die. Do they experience pain in this reality?
No, it doesn't appear like they do.
Okay, I guess that's good.
B tries to fight them off with her shield. Does not work. She's also murdered. So, uh-oh.
Do they have any other, like, specials? Do they get to pick up weapons or skills or something as they go along this ride?
You'll find out, Danielle, won't you?
Because right now, this seems like they're grossly under-equipped for skeleton rats.
Well, luckily, Kat, with her amazing hammer, smashes up the skeleton rats, and they're like, great, we did it, hey, and then the friends respawn, and we're like, we did it.
So if they lose, like they all die, they lose all their hearts, do they just not get the volcano back?
That was my question, Danielle. Like, again, this game is so, like, they're like, oh, game over, your volcano's destroyed, it's been digitized, it's like Tron, it's been digitized, you never get it back. Like, who would buy that? Like, my TV, my cat, what? Give it back.
Like terrible things. Your like parent disappears, your dog, your bed's gone. Like pretty soon your whole house is gone. Your parents are like, what are you doing?
I just can't beat the game, my whole house is gone. If only I had like a 12-year-old who could beat the game for me.
The city disappears, the moon. Like,
you're going extreme, aren't you?
I don't know. There seems to be no rules. What's the end?
The end is you either beat the game or you suffer for eternity.
Is it something that's important to you? Like, if it just took something you didn't care about, you'd be like, there goes the spoon. But no, it seems like it took the one thing in the room he actually needed.
It was very targeted, I guess.
That's what worries me. What if it grew sentient, Sam?
Boy, Danielle, there's so much more to get into in this.
Oh, dear.
You're on the right track.
I was just throwing stuff out, and look what happened.
So, after they defeat the skeleton rats, the world starts to dissolve. Like, oh, okay, loading the next section. They're like, oh no, where do we go? And the book leads them to just a shed in the middle of the forest. So, good thing they have that book. And they find out that the bone rats can regenerate. So, they have to get out of there quick, or they'll be attacked again.
That's not good.
No. But in the shack, they find a robot.
I told you they were robots.
I told you. You were right, Danielle. It just looks like a standard robot, only its head is like an old school CRT TV.
Okay.
And it has like a receipt printer where it prints out words for them so it doesn't like talk or anything. And it prints out itself and introduces itself as 8-Bit, the robot TV companion or something.
This is a weird combination of very old school technology and future technology.
I told you, it's impossible to know when this thing takes place. So B makes fast friends with 8-Bit. She just becomes connected to him immediately. The giant, like, 8-foot-tall robot with a TV head.
I mean, why not?
And so as the rat skeletons regenerate and are about to attack them, a new gate appears, a new portal, just like the one they first entered into this world appears. And they're like, come on, let's go through it. And 8-Bit, like, directs them through the portal. And so they escape through the portal and they find themselves in a big, nasty swamp.
Does 8-Bit go with them?
Yeah, he is now
Nice.
part of the crew.
Hurrah!
So they trudge their way through the swamp and they find a treasure chest up on a little platform.
Are there treasures inside?
There are some treasures inside. They each get little power-ups.
Perfect.
I'm not sure I'm going to talk about all the power-ups just because just listing things is not particularly interesting.
That's fine.
But they all get some little power-ups, and I'll just mention them. You have to assume that they just pick them up from the treasure chest.
Okay.
So they get some power-ups, like, yeah, awesome. And then they're attacked by a giant frog monster called the Glurk.
The Glurk. How do they know its name?
Because 8-Bit tells them, and also there's a little like thing that pops up, a little circular badge again that mentions the Glurk.
And they know? They can see it?
It's communicating to them somehow in the game world. I don't know, they saw their own badges and they got like new names and stuff.
Okay.
So, as they're attacked, they start fighting it off using their new tools, and Kat is eaten by it as she tries to hit with a hammer, just eaten, so sure is another life gone, stuffed out.
Bummer.
Too young. But eventually, Ferg uses the stuff he picked up to turn his arms into bear arms. Now he has bear legs and bear arms.
So, is it a new one?
Yeah, so he got like, the bear foot cream.
feet.
He got bear arm
Okay.
cream now.
Got it.
And so that combined with his friends, they all manage to fight off the Glurk and destroy it. Even 8-Bit helps a little bit. And it looks cool. Like in the comic, they draw the scenes pretty well. I'm just not going to sit here and describe it panel by panel because it's not particularly interesting. But the long and short of it is they managed to fight it off and they work together and they're all very happy about that.
Does he ever at any point try the bear cream on any other parts of his body other than what they're intended for?
Boy, Danielle, that is some advanced thinking. Does he try them on his friends? No.
It just seems like if you had barefoot cream, you might try it on your arms prior to getting the bear arm cream.
You would think.
Or any other parts of your body. Like, what happens if you apply it to your forehead, you know? Like...
It'd be really interesting. You could turn yourself into, like, bear arms growing out of your head. That'd be pretty cool.
Just be curious. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
So anyway, cat respawns and they make their way off. They find another portal in the swamp that will lead them presumably to the next level. So that puzzle is solved. So they solved the puzzle of pushing the right button. They solved the puzzle of smashing skeleton rats and turning on a robot. And they solved the puzzle of fighting a giant frog.
These seem less puzzly and more just like little activities that they have to do in each world.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of video games. I wouldn't play this video game. I mean, I would, because if it was like if it was actually like a holodeck, yeah, I'd play that, obviously. But I just feel like the game design here is a little, maybe it's for children. I don't know, maybe mean.
But it seems simplistic even for that age group.
Yeah. So they go through this portal and it's dark inside, and Beatrice is like, nope, that's it for me. I don't do dark. And 8-Bit takes her hand and turns on a flashlight that's strapped to the TV head with a belt.
How did he get there? Was it there originally?
Yeah, he just has a belt on his head with like various things, and apparently one of them's a flashlight.
I can't believe you didn't describe that earlier, Sam.
It wasn't very clear, I'll be honest. So it wasn't clear what it was until he turned it on. Like, I don't know if that was just like how he kept his head attached to his body or something. But anyway, so he turns it on, so they all go inside, and they find another treasure chest with more items, like bear hair tonic, and now Dewey has a magic staff with a decoder lens.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He found a cereal box.
Basically, it feels very much like that. So, they're making their way through this dark cave, and they find themselves in front of the door with a padlock on it. Finally, a proper puzzle. They have to solve their way through this door. But oh no! They're attacked by spiders. But not really spiders. They're spiders with candles on their back, and they're called pyrachnids.
Pyrachnids?
Pyrachnids.
Because, like, PY?
Yeah.
Like pyre?
Yeah.
I got it.
Clever. I like that one, obviously. And so at the bottom of these stairs, and these pyrachnids are coming
I have
at
questions.
them.
I'm sorry. We gotta back it up.
Go for it.
Because I can't see them. Are they just like little tea candles, or like birthday candles coming out of their butts?
Look like
what do they look like?
So in their abdomen, there are they look like thick inch-round candles that are lit and burning. So they're already they're like an inch or so tall out of the back of these spiders.
Okay.
That cleared
properly. Up? Yeah, I wanted to properly visualize.
Sorry,
these
I should have been clear from the start, because that is pretty cool. So Dewey's like, look.
Do they set their, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Do they set their webs on fire?
I don't know. Do they have webs even?
How does this, when they travel, are they just like little pyromaniacs?
They're just spiders crawling around. I guess they're more like tarantulas. They don't do webs.
It just seems like they would be the cause of a lot of wildfires.
I'm sure they probably do, but they're in a cave, Danielle, so problem solved.
Oh, good. Okay. Sorry, continue. I just needed to be clear on this new development.
So apparently, Dewey finds a clue on the key lock that he can only see with his lens of truth, or whatever this lens is called.
His cereal box.
His cereal box
Prize.
lens. And he's like, okay, you guys hold up the pyrachnids. I'm going to crack this code and open the key and get us to the door.
He wants them to hold them up so you could see?
Hold them off.
Oh, hold them off. I thought you meant use them as a candle. I was like, what happened to the flashlight on?
No, he's like,
that
keep the pyrachnids from eating us, or whatever they're going to do, while I solve the puzzle.
I was trying to figure out the logistics of these murderous pyrachnids and them trying to hold them up so you could see the lock.
I mean, that'd be a really cool solution to this puzzle. You have to use the pyrachnid's light to reveal some clue or something.
All right, so they're trying to figure out this padlock.
Well, Dewey is. Well, the others just run back up the stairs to try to hold them off whatever chamber the pyrachnids are coming from.
Okay.
And this is a combo lock that has letters on it. And so what Dewey reads is, on the lock is in his lens of seeing things that others can't see. That's what I'm calling it. It says, behind this door is the final boss. He's like, okay, I guess the code is boss. And it is.
No way.
Yeah way. So he solved it. Yay!
That's just silly.
Where'd all his friends go? He hasn't heard back from them since they went to fight the pyrachnids. Are they okay?
No, they were eaten by pyrachnids. The end.
Kinda. So as he enters the chamber where they were fighting the pyrachnids, he sees Be alone, and all his other friends are turned into wax.
Wax?
Apparently.
Like the candle wax?
Yeah. What happens when the pyrachnids bite you? They turn you into candles.
Okay, so, full-size human candles?
Yeah, they look just like themselves, but now they are candles.
Do we have proof that the candles on the back of these pyrachnids are not just human souls?
They'd be much larger, Danielle, because they would look like...
But would they, maybe over time they melt down and then the pyrachnids like place them on their little abdomens and like squish them in there and now they have humans riding on their backs.
I'd believe it, Danielle. I think that would be a very logical mode of consumption for these pyrachnids. Like, that's what they eat, is human souls.
I am here for that. I'm writing that book.
Danielle, you've just created a whole new series, Pyrachnid Adventures.
I'm liking this. I knew it got dark. Told you.
So, Bee and Dewey are trying to fight the pyrachnids. They are outgunned and out-spidered, I guess, when suddenly a giant tarantula, like, pops up behind them.
Is it the tarantula from earlier?
And Dewey immediately recognizes it as Cuddles, his pet tarantula, who is now ginormous in this game world.
Why is he ginormous in the game world?
I don't know. Just because.
He was just given a new identity when he came in like the others?
I guess.
Okay.
And so Cuddles goes after the pyrachnids and scares them off, and then scuttles away. And they're like, bye, Cuddles. We'll see you later.
They should have ridden him out.
But now what are they going to do about their friends who are candles? Because they're not technically dead, so they're not going to respawn. They're trapped as candles.
Do they like lose any kind of like eventually just burn out their heart?
They're melting, so maybe eventually they would do that.
See, further proof that they're really on the back of the pyrachnids eventually.
Probably. So while they're trying to figure out what to do, 8-Bit's little pocket receipt printer prints out a spell for Dewey to read, because he is the wizard. But he says...
He's a wizard? Is that what you told me when he...
Yeah, at the very beginning, like, he's the wizard, and the shield person's the defense, and you have your barbarian and Ferguson. Like, they all have their video game roles.
Okay.
But he's the wizard. He's got the magic staff. He's got the lens of seeing things other people can't see. I remembered it. And he's like, this spell is really hard for me to read. And so like, what do you mean? He's like, well, it's because of my dyslexia. They'll just like trigger and trap words. So apparently he's dyslexic, which is why he has so much trouble with all his other subjects in school.
I figured.
Yeah. And so B's like, well, I can read it for you if you like. And he's like, no, you do that for me all the time. I don't want to rely on you for everything.
But this might be the time.
Yeah, I know. We're going to get to that. And she's like, you're right. I don't understand what it's like for you to have this disability. I don't get it. But I also have like anxiety. So I always get anxious about everything, nervous about everything, afraid of the dark. And I really appreciate when you're there to help me get over that kind of stuff, or at least to deal with it. So it's not that I am a crutch for you. It's that we are just helping each other. It's okay to ask for help.
That's true.
And they have a little heart-to-heart.
Does he have, like, I don't know, this book doesn't seem like it actually gets into it. Does he have, like, diagnosed dyslexia? Like, his teachers and everything are aware of it?
Clearly, it's just everyone knows about it. Like, it's not a secret or anything, because his sister knew he had it. So, I would assume so. And you think they would have, like, an IEP or something to help him out in school.
You would think so. Like, maybe he does, and he just still really struggles with it. But you think they'd be helping him do better in school.
Yeah, but maybe in this dystopian corporate-run reality future, they've done away with that and say, well, if you can't hack it, well, into the video game virtual reality mines you go. The only thing I got. So he's like, okay, thanks. I'm going to try it on my own, and you can help correct me if I make a mistake. I've already read it through once, so let me try this. And so he reads the spell. B helps him out a little bit, and it works. The friends are transformed back into their original selves, except Ferg is just a full-on bear now.
I think that they should have had to do some kind of puzzle to get that spell.
Nope, it's just given to my 8-Bit. Just prints it out. He solved the puzzle. The real puzzle of this part was finding that the word boss was the key to get to the boss.
Yes, because it's like password being your password.
I don't disagree.
And why is Ferg now fully a bear?
Oh, I'm sorry. He poured the bear hair stuff on him again, so he found the more bear stuff while he went to fight the pyrachnids, and so he grew a bunch of bear hair. So he was like a hairy, berry Ferg. So not like a full bear, but he's got like bear arms, bear legs, and a bear head. He's
like a werebear?
Yeah, kinda. He's slowly becoming more bear over time. Anyway, so they go through the door to the boss room, and it's a giant volcano room. And the boss is the volcano project.
Does it have like a mouth? Is it talking to them?
It looks like a giant magma monster. Like it has a mouth. It's huge. It doesn't say anything, but it's clearly, they're like, oh, it's Mount Hamburger. We're going to fight Mount Hamburger.
Does it have its own soundtrack? Because it has a little like radio thing going on inside of it.
There's no sound in the book, Danielle, but I can only assume that yes, it does.
It's got some great like summer jam in the background.
In the summertime. No. Probably, that'd be great.
Or something classical like Hall of the Mountain King.
Yeah, sure. Any of those would work. So they're like, that's huge. What are we going to do about this? And Dewey is reading through his book, and that's when they decide, okay, we're just going to go for it. And Ferg just drinks all 3 of his potions that he picked up, and he just turns into a straight-up bear, like an actual bear, not just a kid covered in bear hair with bear arms and belly. Like, he is a grizzly bear or something.
He's like the kid you don't trust with anything, because he just panics.
And they're like, oh, I guess Ferg's just a bear now. He has, like, no sentience anymore. He is bear-level intelligence. He's a bear through and through. He is not Ferg in a bear. He is a bear.
That's unfortunate.
So he's useless.
And possibly murderous.
And as they're being attacked by the magma monster, B puts up a little shield, and they all huddle inside the shield dome, figuring, okay, we're screwed. What are we going to do?
Don't usually by the time you get to the like final boss or whatever, like you're supposed to have like learned skills and gotten things along the way that will help you fight them.
Well, presumably the power-ups they've picked up in the 2 treasure chests are supposed to help them.
Right, but they haven't learned anything or how to use them.
Not at all.
Otherwise, Ferg wouldn't have just like eaten all of the potions.
And become just a regular bear. But at this point, Kat decides the best option is just go on the offense. She leaves the shield dome and just tries to smash Mount Hamburger, the giant magma monster, with her hammer. Because she has a hammer, it makes sense. She's immediately destroyed by lava. Just killed completely. Lost her second life. Game over. She's gone. She's a little skeleton in her badge now.
And hopefully she did not die in real life, because who knows?
Yeah, no, they would not pay to pass this video game to make that happen. Next to go is Ferg, because the shield breaks apart, and Ferg the bear panics and is destroyed by lava.
I was surprised that Ferg the bear managed to just hang out, like understand that he should stand behind the shield.
Well, they like put a dome up around him. He was trapped in there with the rest of them.
Okay.
And he didn't maul them, surprisingly.
So, that's good. Considering you think a bear trapped in a dome with hot lava coming after it would definitely maul the things in the dome.
Oh, 100%. So B and Dewey try to escape, but they get stuck in the lava. They're dead too. Womp womp. Everyone's dead. They all meet up in the nether realm, and they're like, what are we going to do now? They look up, and there is a single heart floating up high in the nether realm. It is the extra life.
Woo!
So they all make like a human pyramid and help Dewey reach up and get it, and he gets the extra life, and he respawns back in the magma cave.
I think this story should have picked a different character to respawn. I know he's the main character.
You want the bear back, don't you?
It would have been pretty funny.
Just a bear mauling a mountain.
Like, what are our best chances? The bear.
I mean, the bear is pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. So, as Dewey comes back, he finds his spell book, and he finds a new spell in it called the Alpha Beta spell. And he's like, well, I guess this is what I gotta do. And so he uses the spell, and it creates a ribbon of words, of letters, that shoots out of his staff and enwrap the magma monster. And if he looks through his lens, he can pick out certain words. Like, he can actually read certain words in the random jumble of letters. Mm-hmm. And he starts saying those letters, and eventually, as he's saying them, the ribbons constrict, and the volcano monster magma Mount Hamburger thing is destroyed. Game over. They win. Huzzah.
So he destroyed the magma volcano through the power of reading.
Yep.
I am there for that.
Yeah, exactly.
You go,
exactly
Dewey.
Right. You figured out the lesson, Danielle. So they reappear back in the clubhouse. They're all excited to be back. They did it. But they realize, wait a minute, the volcano's not back.
Uh-oh.
So apparently the way this video game works is it steals something of yours, and you have to go into the video game to retrieve it, but you actually end up fighting the thing it stole from you, which it transforms into a monster, and then when you win, it doesn't give it back to you.
That's insane. That is literally the worst idea I've ever heard for a video game in my whole life.
Right. Like, this video game, it just steals something from you. You don't get it back. Like, you win, you don't get it back. It's just gone.
You destroyed it in the game. Unfortunately for you, you don't get the item back because you destroyed it.
Yeah, you had to destroy it to win the game, and by doing so, you don't get it back. Like the toll you pay to play the game.
You would literally only play that game one time.
If that, like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want to hear about that. Like, no, I don't want the video game destroying my volcano or
That's
TV
true, yeah,
or
as
cat
soon as
or
word
whatever.
got out.
Yeah, no, this is the worst idea for a video game. Like, I get it. This is awesome in a child's imagination. Like, oh, what if a video game, like, you had to really fight it and get something back? But, like, from a marketing standpoint, this is dead on arrival.
Yeah, there's no way. That's like what they fix when they do the next thing, the update.
Patch, like, well, that was a
oh,
mistake.
yeah, you get your item back, by the way.
Oh, how did you sort of steal in the first first place. Or we could just scan it and make a copy of it or something if we really want to go that route. We don't have to like literally digitize and steal something from your house.
No, the stakes have to be high, Sam. The moon, Sam, the moon.
What if you take it to a friend's house and you're like, oh, let's go to a friend's house, steal their TV. And you can take it back to your house like, oh, no, I got their TV.
I'd hope it would like reappear wherever it was taken from.
Well, apparently they don't reappear at all, as far as I can tell.
So does he fail the science fair?
We're about to get to that. So they're all like, Dewey, buddy, we're sorry we couldn't get your volcano back, but we have your back, so we can help you make something else for the science fair, I guess. We have a day to do so. The night, it's this tomorrow, I guess. And so there's a brief montage of everyone pitching in and helping Dewey build something else for the science fair. What did he build? It's called the Adjustable Reading Enhancer with an audio jack.
So that he can what? Read better?
So, cut to the next day. They're in the auditorium. The principal is reading out the winner of the science fair, and what he says is, the winner is Dewey Jenkins for his revolutionary helmet device titled Mental Warriors, the power of combining skills to combat reading disabilities. And that's all the description we get of the device.
That's so sad. I'm super curious.
Right. Like, what does it do? And what does it mean by combining skill? Like, I get it's supposed to be like tying somehow to their adventure in video game land about how they had to work together, but like they didn't really like form like a Voltron or whatever and fight off the giant magma monster. He just went back by himself and did it with a spell he got from his magic book.
Is there a sequel to this story that exists?
I don't know. If there is, it hasn't come out yet.
I'd be curious. Maybe it features into the second one.
Nope. He just wins. He wins. He wins the science fair. Go do it.
Well, I'm really glad that he invented something that helps with people who have disabilities. Like learning disabilities. But I'd love to learn more about this device.
Well, I guarantee you the reason they don't tell you more about this device is because they don't even know how it works.
No, I know.
But however, Principal Ferguson, who is Ferg's dad, says, before we dismiss the audience for the science fair, I need Dewey and the rest of the crew to meet me in my office. So they go to the office, and Principal Ferg pushes a button on the game console, which they stuck back into his office.
I was going to ask you, did they put that back in?
Yeah, presumably they did. And a hologram of a man appears above the video game console. So not only is it a video game console that creates virtual world, it's also like a holographic communication device.
No.
Yes. And he's introduced as Dr. Ingalls, the head of research and development at Infinity Lens Laboratories. So he's the guy who invented or like works at the company that invents this device.
That they're giving to this random middle school.
That apparently is just totally magic. And he's like, all right, I can't stay long. I want to personally congratulate you on this project. We've made a change to the prize, however, because we saw that you guys took it and did stuff with it, because of course they would know if somebody activated the device, because internet or something, I presume.
That's creepy, though, still.
Well, it gets creepier. So,
oh dear. See? Evil corporation. I told you.
They're like, what do you mean you're changing the price? Well, he's like, we know someone broke the Infinity Lens and took it for a little test drive. But no worries. I was young once. I know how it goes. So we're going to give you all a free tour of the Infinity Lens labs. Come on down. Take a tour.
Not as exciting as the actual device, though maybe better because it doesn't steal your stuff.
I mean, maybe they get both. I don't know. And just as he's leaving, he's like, okay, I'll see you later. We'll arrange everything with the principal. He gives a little printed piece of paper to B, and it's very clear that he was
Wait. You can, like, hand a piece of paper through this device?
Yeah, apparently he manifests a piece of paper.
No, what? How?
Yeah, and it's the same kind of paper, like the receipt paper that 8-Bit was printing out, and it's implied, at least to me, that he was 8-Bit. Like, he was in the video game with the kids, playing along as 8-Bit.
Right, but still, Sam, how does the paper get from this Skype call to I can't actually hand it to?
I don't know. Somehow,
so many questions.
I think
this device with this technology is not being given to a random middle schooler. This is like government level technology.
What's weird to me, Danielle, is why was this adult man lurking around a bunch of middle schoolers as a creepy robot?
I don't know. Also super creepy, but this like changes warfare, okay?
Okay. Whoa, we're into that, are we?
If you can, like, project an image into a different location that can, like, set a bomb and disappear.
I don't know who can do that. Maybe it only exists for as long as they're in the room.
But it, like, created matter.
It's a hologram, Danielle. It's a piece of paper. It's not like, I don't know if it's actually paper or just a hologram paper like they had when they were in the virtual reality world.
Does it disappear when he disappears, the paper?
No?
Well, oh.
But then I don't know where
so
it
many
goes.
questions, Sam. So many questions.
Maybe it disappears later after he goes. I don't know.
We need to talk to your neighbor and see if we can get in contact with his author, because I need to ask my question.
You can email him, I'm sure.
All right.
There's actually 4 press inquiries. I have the contact of the people.
Oh my gosh, so many questions. So, what does the paper say? I'm sorry.
The paper just is like, 8-bit is not B's pet, 8-bit is B's friend. He's like clearly trying to like say, oh yeah, I was there, I'm your friend, B. Like, what's this weird old man doing around hanging out with a bunch of middle schoolers, making friends in a video game world, pretending to be a robot? Like, that just felt very sketchy to me.
It's a little sketchy. I will go with that.
Anyway, they all leave the principal's office and they bike to the malt shop again. Ferg rides a unicycle, just for funsies.
I love Ferg.
He's the best. And they're all like, all right, great. Can't wait to see the summer and to visit Infinity Labs. And my invention's super cool. I'm not going to summer school. Yay! The end.
Oh, that was a wild ride. I don't know how I feel about that.
Look, it's fun fantasy for kids. I get that. That's cool. The technology, I'm not as hung up on the fantasy technology as you are, because I'm just like, all right, clearly they're just making it up to do whatever it needs to do in the moment because, kids book. But 2 things I kind of just are wild to me. One, that video game system, jacking your stuff. And just like, what?
Yeah, it's the craziest premise for a video game I've ever heard.
Also, I did not expect it to be a lesson on dyslexia and acceptance by the end of the book. Like, it started out nothing like that.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's like a throwaway comment in the beginning. Yeah. And then it becomes like the entire premise of the last quarter of the novel.
It is the thesis. So,
yeah,
which is
you
great.
think it would have like come up, like maybe you see him struggling with that in the beginning more.
And like I said, I think the book is great. I think it has great art. It has a very diverse cast, and I appreciate the message. So no complaints about that. But man, that video game, I would never, ever expect that to succeed in the market.
No, I think that would last like 2 seconds before they'd have to update it to not steal your things.
There is one possibility that I'm not entirely sure that maybe when Dewey repaired it, he didn't he repaired it wrong and it caused it to malfunction and behave evil. But still, if it has those capabilities.
Yeah, let's pretend that's what happened, because that actually explains everything. I don't think that's what happened.
I think it was designed to steal your stuff. And that's why, because again, clearly Dr. Ingalls, the maker of the device, or like one of the lead, the lead developer of the device, was in the world with them. He knew what happened. He knew they'd stole the volcano, apparently, or something, because he was 8-bit, I'm guessing. At least that's what's implied at the end. So if this was a huge malfunction that was endangering them, he could have stopped it at any time. I
am 100% convinced that in the sequel to this graphic novel, you find out that they're actually evil. Oh, I think you find that out in this novel. Well, yes, but I think it's like something happens in the second one. That makes that abundantly clear. So, yeah, there you go. That is my video game ate my homework. Literally. Yeah. Well, eat is not really the right word. I would say de-atomized, maybe. Consumed. Digitized. That's the title. Video game de-atomized my homework. Yeah. So, if you got kids, it's a fun one. If you don't, it's still fun. Oh, that was quite the story, Sam. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. Man, crazy, right? Ugh. So, I have a question for you and for all of our audience if they want to write in and answer this question. My question is, what item in your house that this video game system would abduct and turn into the final boss of this video game would be the most devastating for you? Like, that's deep. I don't mean devastating on like an emotional level, but maybe go with that. But I meant devastating on like, oh, I am never going to defeat that thing. Like if it took like your chainsaw or something. Sure. Know? Yeah. Gosh. Well, the cat. I think that hits all of the points, and it also would be almost impossible to destroy. Absolutely. Also, you couldn't kill your cat knowing you would never get it back. I know. If you know the end result is that the cat's not going to come back, I'd just be stuck in the video game, I guess. Let's assume non-animate things, inanimate things. Let's assume items, not living creatures, just for the sake of... Although, that spider appeared in the game, so I don't know. I'm trying to think of something in my house that's inanimate that I care about. I don't care if you care about it. It's like that you fear. If it like was made into an evil
villain, what would be like, oh yeah, that's a thing that I could never destroy because it is way too powerful as an evil villain.
I actually have this, it's like a hot pad thing. It's a turtle that is,
okay, great.
It's probably like 10 inches and it's filled with like lavender and rice or whatever. It was a gift. And
you microwave it?
Heat it up.
You
heat it up and you can put it on your sore spots. And I think if that thing were like really ginormous.
Where is this going, Danielle?
It would just be very scary. It'd probably smell really good.
Oh, this evil villain has a really nice odor.
But it would probably it would be hot and scary.
So it's like the volcano, basically.
Yes.
But a turtle with rice and beans or whatever inside of it you microwave.
Yeah. But I feel like if it could open its mouth, it'd probably have really sharp teeth inside. It's now turned into an evil boss. It's not going to be nice.
You got me there, didn't I? I can't argue with that logic.
I just think a giant tortoise would be scary.
You know what? That's fair. I don't think I'd like to fight one. They're armored.
They could be hard to defeat.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions before we wrap up?
What's in your house, Sam? Come on, you gotta share.
Oh, my turn. Oh, gosh. I mean, I think like if my computer got abducted and turned into like one of those, super android Borg style villains, that'd be pretty terrifying.
That's a good choice. I support that.
Yeah, so it'd be like, now it's like a sentient robot race or computer race, like a masterminding the taking over of humanity through, turning them into mechanical beings or whatever.
That's scarier than a giant shelled tortoise.
I don't know, Danielle. I mean, you can't even microwave it. Microwaves can't kill it. What can?
It's true.
Microwaves only make it more powerful and warmer.
Dun, dun, dun.
On the other hand, if you're sore all over, all I gotta do is give it a big old hug. Well, listeners, if you have an idea for the thing in your world, in your home, that would be the most terrifying to be stolen and turned into an evil video game boss, you can contact us at bookretorts.com.
Also, you can tweet us a picture of it or a description.
Yes.
We don't care at bookretorts or Instagram or Facebook, also at bookretorts.
Yeah, if you want to draw some fan art of the thing in your home turned into an evil video game boss, I would love to see that.
Oh my gosh, please do that. We'll share the heck out of that.
We will. But until next time, bye.
Take care, everybody. Maybe you need a smell thing attached to your door, and anytime somebody stands longer there than 3 seconds, it releases a toxic foul odor, and then they have to leave.
Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't get me evicted.
Secret, Sam. It's a secret. It only would happen to those neighbors. Those seem to be the only ones that just stand there and talk.
Anyway, we can get back to it now, finally.
It was a good idea. Whatever.
It's not. It's not a good idea.